Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Nice to be here. My name's Rob Collins, and I'm from Umeå University. And essentially, I'm in the middle of a PhD, not specifically related to this, but it's about designing for contestable systems and basically developing a more healthy, sustainable, and responsible relationship with technology, specifically with AI and data-driven systems. Now, part of my practice is essentially research through design, but I also, whenever I come up with a concept that's kind of abstract about technology or philosophy, I try and build a physical device to sort of understand it. And in a way, it helps me understand it through the design, through the building of it quite a lot, but it also gives me an artifact that I can kind of hand over to people and go, what do you think of that? Have a conversation about it. So the conspiracy capitalizer here is something that came from a time before my PhD, when I was involved with a group called Tactical Tech in Berlin, and we were doing a lot of work on misinformation and disinformation on the internet. And as I was kind of studying this, I was also looking at AI at the same time. And I noticed that a lot of these conspiracy disinformation producers were also sort of, initially coming in with questionable politics, but at least politics. And some of them, as they attracted crowds of people, I noticed that they were less concerned about what they were putting out there, but more concerned about gathering people and selling things to them, Bitcoin, vitamin supplements, etc. And this kind of concept of a conspiracy capitalizer came to me. ChatGPT wasn't out, but I was playing with training small AIs on my laptop, and they were terrible AIs, but they were good for the time being. And essentially, my ability to build AIs wasn't great. So I built this interface for an AI, and in a way, it helped me, rather than constantly diving into the code, adjusting things, running it again. I was able to basically press buttons, flick switches, and change the way the AI was responding to things. And I imagined it as something that would be on a CEO's desk, and it specifically doesn't have a display on it because I kind of want people to kind of not care about what's being sent out there into the world, through social media. It's about the money, it's about the shareholders, it's about that sort of thing. So essentially, you'd design your conspiracy on this, send it out into the world, and the only feedback you'd get would be, your profits going up and down. If profits went down, you'd maybe change it a little bit. If they went up, you'd tweak things, and you'd develop this weird relationship with the interface, but, without getting your hands dirty with this whole conspiracy thing. So essentially, if you're out there and you get a chance to play with it, the four knobs across the top, you can adjust the age of your target demographic, the politics from left to right. I'm inclusive in that sense. The emotion you want to get, and also the kind of believability, how wild it is. We then have a bunch of switches where you can add in, hot topics like gun control, immigration, healthcare, minimum wage, etc. And then there's a row of kind of curated, classic conspiracy theories, your flat earth, your anti-vax, QAnon, AI hype, etc. And once you press one of those buttons at the bottom, it generates your conspiracy from that. So, I've been using it as a sort of for me, building it has been a really interesting adventure. It's given me like a kind of a portal to look into these systems and the assemblages behind them. But I've also been using it to basically help interaction design students up in Umeå to explore the sort of outer edges of conspiracies and, well, not necessarily conspiracies, but the systems they're designing for, essentially. So I'll keep it short. These are some of the questions I use for, when I show it to people. How would it be used? What kind of person would operate it? And, being able to map things behind it. So I'm going to leave it at that because I think it's something that needs to be interacted with. Like one of the things that actually raised itself recently is that I'm using ChatGPT and I'm having to pay for it a little bit. But now ChatGPT is forcing me to use a different model. And it's interesting when we're designing for these systems, there's nothing really open about it because we don't control what's going on. And one of the things that came up recently was, it does produce quite controversial stuff, but you can always say, well, that's ChatGPT doing it. But I'm wondering, in the future, whether, people would be sent to jail for hate prompts or something like that, that sort of prompt engineering. But yeah, I'll leave it at that and say thank you very much.
Right.